What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. A little while ago, last week, I posted a video about Grayscale's Bitcoin Trust. And this fund is soaking up more Bitcoin than was even mined. Obviously, that's a big deal. It makes me think it's bullish. It makes a lot of other people think that's very bullish. But there were some questions about whether they were actually buying that much Bitcoin or if investors were just depositing their Bitcoin they already owned. Still bullish, but probably not as bullish because it means they're not buying as much Bitcoin as it looked like. I wanted to have on an investor that knew a lot more than me, ask him how the fund worked, how the trade works, how the premium works, and whether it's actually bullish or bearish for Bitcoin. I promised I would get this one done, so I'm happy that it worked out so well. The guest I had in the podcast knew a ton about this topic, and there's so much information already out there. There's been some Twitter threads about it, but the information is very fragmented. It's hard to keep up with. It's hard to understand it just put in one place. So this little short 5-minute video will explain everything you need to know, clear up any inconsistencies with the story, with how much Bitcoin's being bought, what's being deposited, and how the trade works. Even how you could pull off the trade. I think you guys are going to enjoy this one. It's a guest from my podcast, like I said, Dan Matuszewski. Episode came out last week. If you want to listen to the full episode, links right down below. Also, remember to hit like and subscribe. I have a ton more of these clips of the podcast coming out. Daily videos about themes, trends, trades, all that stuff. So you guys can keep up with what's happening in the market. Enjoy the video, and I'll see you guys soon. Three is the Grayscale premium trade, and this one's gotten so much attention. You've had a couple threads. It's been talked ad nauseum, but I think you're going to have some good insight because I still have a couple questions with it. So I want to break it down 3 different ways. How does the fund work, right? People see these numbers and they say Grayscale bought more Bitcoin than was even mined. But how does it actually work? And then we'll kind of go into how the trade works, and then we'll talk about, is it actually bullish or bearish? But how does the fund work? What is Grayscale?
Yeah, so we'll just talk about the GBTC, which is the Grayscale Bitcoin product, because they all sort of work the same way. So when Grayscale will get inflows into the trust, like people buying it at NAV. But what they can also do is they can also do what's called like-kind exchange, right? So if I have 100 Bitcoin, I can give Grayscale 100 Bitcoin, and then they give me the equivalent in shares back, right? So they don't have to go and buy anything, right? It could be all like-kind exchange. And what you get is a lot of people doing a trade where they borrow Bitcoin for, let's say, 5%, and then they put it in the trust, and then they are able to sell it in 6 months for let's call it an 8% premium. So then they collect 3% on that, right? Then they return the borrow, and then they do it. So they're cycling it. So the thing is you can't look at anything in absolutes, because it's not all of that's buying, not all of that's like-kind. It's some blend of the two. It's mostly like-kind, because they used to break this out in their old reports. They don't do it anymore, probably because they want to keep this air of mystery around it, and they like the narrative of it growing really big. But in general, the thing that you really care about is the fact that premium persists, right? Because if that premium is persisting, it means that there's a lot of, or at least there's a good chunk of demand for the trust shares, aka Bitcoin, at the end of the day, right? Because that risk is still getting placed with somebody, and that's really what matters. So I think the fact that I don't think it's people want to be oh, it doesn't mean anything for the price. Well, that's not true either. The fact that people are making $250 million of this a quarter, and they're placing it in the market, and the market's absorbing it at a price higher than the spot market is currently, you can't say that doesn't have any effect on it. That means that the spot market is probably undervalued to some true price that's the equilibrium of where GBTC and the current price is, if that sort of makes sense, right? People are willing to pay above market for the trust product currently. So those two have to converge eventually. And it means spot probably comes up and GBTC comes down.
Sure. So, even if it isn't all fresh, net new purchases, all this $1 billion, going into GBTC, them, soaking up all the Bitcoin mining flow, since the premium still exists, it shows that someone's buying it. Who is buying it? Why does the premium exist? Who's forced to buy these things?
Nobody's forced to buy these things, but well, I guess some people only have this.
That's what I'm saying. Right? Regulatory wise, I imagine their hand is forced. Okay.
Right. It makes sense if you want to put Bitcoin in your tax deferred account. That's the only way. It's not the only way. It's the easiest way to do it.
Okay.
And then some people are look, this thing trades historically with a 10-15% premium. I don't mind buying it at 7% premium because maybe
it could go higher
for a little bit. Yeah. Or I think people are really quick to judge, be that's dumb. Who's doing that? And sometimes when you have the ETH Trust trading, I don't know, whatever it was 700% over NAV.
Yeah.
That's dumb. That shouldn't be happening. And you have unsophisticated people that are clearly buying that. But for something such as GBTC, where it's like a slight premium, like that probably is outweighed with the tax benefit that you're going to get on that thing. So you just like sort of stick it in there and you forget it. Like there's a lot of people that own that thing and like Roth and like 401k type like vehicles to like keep it going. So, and then there's a lot of people who just can't hold physical, right?
Yeah.
But like, and like some of those people may just decide that it makes sense to like buy GPTC in the market. But like in general, those people should probably just buy it at NAV. Like unless there's some reason they can't, which I don't understand why there would be. So you do get that flow in there. So some of that is like real cash demand that's like moving into the market as well. So I don't know. I'd like to see Grayscale break it back out into like what's like kind and what's not. But like I don't think they're going that direction. And again, I think they're like just not going to say anything going forward.
So some since it is some of its like kind, it's not ultra bullish, but at the same time, it's so bullish that the premium persists both on the GBTC product and the ETH product. I think that's probably a fair characterization.
It's bullish that they're putting a quarter of a yard into the market every quarter and it persists. Like that matters.
Yeah. So the premium's the important part there. I think the breakdown of the two matters a little bit less. Still matters, obviously, but the premium persisting is the biggest thing.
Yeah. And something to do, I mean, for like viewers listening, like if you are planning on holding Bitcoin for over a year, or in this case now it's 6 months, but like if you're planning on holding 6 months and like obviously your own personal tax situation aside, like you can just give them the Bitcoin and then trade it that way yourself, right? You can harvest that. You can give it to them, get the shares at NAV, 6 months, sell it, and get more Bitcoin. Like you can do that.
Can anyone do it? You have to be accredited or what?
You got to. I don't know if you have to be accredited, but there is like a 50K min ticket size. You have to be accredited, so I would bet, but I don't know. It's on the Grayscale website. You can go like look it up.
So after that 5-minute clip, I hope you all understand how this Grayscale fund works. If you see any more graphics that more Bitcoin's being bought by them than is even mined, you now have a little bit more background to understand how that's actually working. There are some deposits taking place. Some people are depositing just to sell for shares. At least you have the full picture. It makes you a more informed Bitcoin trader or investor. And one more thing while I have you. That's a pretty creative way to be buying Bitcoin. One of the easiest ways to buy Bitcoin, though, is through crypto.com. They sponsor these shows and help put on the episodes so I can make these videos every single day. This is what the app looks like. Right down below this video, download the app. It is one of the easiest ways to buy your Bitcoin. You can buy the Bitcoin, send it from anyone right here with the wallet, stake any of your assets. It makes it so easy to buy, store, sell, trade, anything you want to do with your Bitcoin, all right there on the crypto.com app. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.